Alright, should we just get straight into it? Might as well, eh? No point in really just, I don't know. Oh, pardon me. That was a bit gross. Anyway, yeah. So, my last one of these, I talked about, music, right? And I got a lot, well, I say a lot, I got a fair bit of feedback, basically saying that people really enjoyed that video and they liked, like they just enjoyed what I was talking about. And some of the people who watched it were with me through that whole time, and it was like, they said stuff like, it was cool seeing it from my perspective, I guess. So we're gonna sort of go on a similar thing, but today I'm gonna be talking about basically, I guess, my journey through like friendships and such. So I guess you could say this one will be just about my social life. Well, not really, because I'm not going to talk about girlfriends and all that, because that's going to be a different episode. So this one will be just friends. So, and also, I was thinking about this right before I started. None of these videos have like scripts or anything, so a lot of it's just off the cusp, off the top of my head. When I think of something, it's sort of just, I say it, like there's no real structure. And so I'm sure throughout this entire video it'll jump around left, right and center. I'll try and go in order as much as possible, like in chronological order, but there'll be things that I forget and stuff like that. And so yeah, just be ready for that. I apologize now. Also, I know I've been blabbing on so far, but this will probably be a rather long video, like, so I'm going to go back all the way until, well, the first thing I distinctly remember when I know and knew that my age at the time was my 5th birthday. So, and I mean, I'm 19 now, so that's, 14 years of stuff to go through. So yeah, strap yourselves in, get flow out, play along with me, and yeah, it should be sweet. So I guess I'll tell that story. My 5th birthday, I was in preschool, and this was in a different city. I lived in Townsville, like way up North Queensland, and I don't remember a lot about school in those days, but sorry, what did I just say? I don't remember a lot about school in those days. Is that what I said? I don't know. That's what I meant to say. But this, I had one distinct memory. I don't remember having a lot of friends. Like, obviously, people I was there with were friendly, but looking back, I can't really remember any of them. I can't really tell you what any of their names were and stuff like that. But one distinct memory I have, for my birthday. So in primary school, everyone always used to bring in cakes for everyone else on their birthday, which I'm sure you guys knew, but I felt like saying that for some reason. And I brought in a cake with a picture of the Incredible Hulk on there, and everyone was lining up for it, and one of the guys who was either first or second in line basically walked up, pointed at the big picture of the Incredible Hulk right in the middle and said, "I'm having this part." And I remember thinking to myself, like, there's no fucking way, like, get out of town, you mangy looking ass piece of, yeah, you get the idea. I was like, I hated this guy because he said he wanted the Hulk bit of the cake, and I was like, no, that is not happening. Yeah. I don't really know why I told that story, but yeah. What was next? Oh, I was going to talk about, so I remember, so I was in Townsville for school for all of preschool, which is kindergarten in Canberra. So all of kindergarten, all of year one, and the first 3 terms of year 2. So year 2, I remember having a couple more friends, and there's one guy whose name was Jesse, who was probably my closest friend at the time. We hung out a lot, and yeah, I haven't actually spoken to him since, and I wonder if he remembers me. But yeah, we would hang out all the time. He was one of my closest friends. I don't it's like, it's weird thinking back to it, because the way I look at my friends now, I never looked at him that way. And so, yeah, it's just, or at least I don't think I did. I don't really remember. Yeah. There's not really a lot else to tell. If we go forward now to when I moved down to Canberra, which is where I am now, there was, so I distinctly remember my first day of school. I showed up and I had no friends, and I was sort of wandering around, and then I got introduced to the class as soon as the sort of first bell went in the morning. And I remember lots of the guys came up to me. So there were a lot of guys at this point, and a lot of them were coming up to me and asking oh, do you want to come play with us at recess and lunch, or do you want to come play this? And I distinctly remember there's one kid, his name was Reese. He came up to me and said, do you want to come kick a footy round with me? And I was like, to everyone, it's sort of I was just like, yeah, sure, I guess so, yeah, I'll do whatever. But Reese stood out like a sore thumb because he had really massive buck teeth. And yeah, he ended up being like my best mate all throughout primary school, but we'll get to that. So that was in year 1. Oh, because the aging things were different. I was in year 2 in Townsville, but then moved down here and went back to year 1 for the last term. So yeah. Year 1, I was only there for 1 term, and it was kind of a strange one because I didn't really know anyone, and I don't know, I wasn't really close to anyone. Year 2, there was a lot more focus on my friendship with people, and my teacher in year 2 as well was one of my mates, I guess you'd say. Her name, I won't say her name, but she was, she was a fantastic teacher. She loved us all, and she was, it was crazy. Year 3 was a bit different because we had a combined year 3 and 4 classroom. So we had some older kids in there, and so it was a bit more intimidating because we were hanging out with the older kids during class. During recess and lunch we didn't really at all. By the way, the first part of this video is going to be not very detailed at all because my memory of primary school is obviously not as good as my memory of high school. But I'm going to keep going anyway because you know what? I feel like it. So yeah. Well, I got to year 3. Yeah, I told that. Year 4 was better because it was just a year 4 classroom. It wasn't combined or anything. I had the same teacher again as I did in year 3, so she knew all of us, but it was just year 4s, and that made it a lot better. And so it was at this point that, well, I guess it was more year 5, but it definitely started in year 4. We were hanging out with the girls more, so at recess and lunch. Okay, let me explain this. So a couple of all boys schools start at year 4. So at the end of year 3, we had a lot of boys leave, and I think there was only maybe 5 or 6 of us left, and the rest of the cohort was all girls, and so we didn't really have a choice but to hang out with the girls. And so that's what sort of, I don't know, gave me more confidence in talking to girls. Going to an all boys school for high school definitely took that away, but we'll get to that. Year 5 was another combined classroom, so we were like a year 5 and 6 room, and so we had a lot of the year 6s in our room, and it was even worse because there was only like 2 boys in that cohort, so our classroom was mostly girls at this point. Like there were no, every guy was sat at a table with only other girls, because there was like I said, 6 of us, and all the table groups were split up into all girls and 1 boy. So I guess that helped in a way, but it also was super intimidating, which sounds so gay, but it's just, you know what I mean? Especially girls that are a year above you, you feel like not only are they girls, and girls are scary, man, but because they're a year above you, like, these people are so much smarter than I am, and I don't belong in a class with them. So there was that. Year 6 was probably one of the best years of primary school. It was just us in the year 6 room. We didn't have any combined students. I was basically friends with all the girls in that cohort. So it was sort of, I'd gotten past that whole intimidation thing, and we'd hang out with them at lunch or recess and all that jazz. And so, yeah, that was really primary school. And Reese, I go back to Reese, it was probably around year 4 that I started calling him my best mate. And he was like my first ever best mate, I guess I'd say. And we'd like, we'd go hang out at each other's places. All that. I still have his landline number, if he still lives in the same house, I don't know. But I memorized his landline number and I still know it. Yeah. It was just an all-around good time. Primary school was great. I made a lot of friends. I didn't really see any of those friends after primary school, and I haven't really spoken to them at all. But yeah. No, it was great. Right, high school time. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets interesting. So put your hats on. I don't know why I want you to put your hats on, but just do it. Alright, we all got hats on? Sweet. Alright, let's go. So high school, I went to an all boys high school, and you can imagine, especially year 7, that sort of, 12-year-old stage, everyone's going crazy with hormones and such. So it was just, everyone was insane in high school. And so started year 7, I hung out with one of my mates who I knew from playing cricket. So, okay, what happened was, at the end of year 6, I went and played cricket for the school team of the school I went to, just because the season continued over into the start of year 7. So I asked to basically go play with them. So that happened, and because other people were in the same boat, one of my mates who was coming into the school was in my classes, and so I made friends with him, and then I started hanging out with like his friendship group from his primary school. And looking back on it now, they were all such dicks. Like, I tell you what, I only really hung out with them because I didn't know any better, I guess. Yeah. What was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought. I heard someone come home and I was thinking about where they were. Year 7 friends. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I told that story. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. I started also to hang out with this group of friends who were in most of my classes, but I got into a lot of trouble hanging out with them. I know it's such a rebel. Yeah, that was probably the wrong choice. Looking back on them now, I still think fondly about all of them that were in that group, but because they were good people, they were just kind of idiots sometimes. They weren't the kind of people that like are doing drugs and smoking now, but they were, yeah, they're just kind of silly sometimes. And I mean, so was I. That's why I hung out with them. So that was that. Year 8. Oh, here's where it sort of overlaps with the whole music episode. But I started to make new friends with the people in my music class. So it was like a sort of switch, and the people I was hanging out with, I still hung out with the same people from before. But on top of the music, I was making friends through other classes as well. So in year 8, I was doing like woodworking and stuff. And so I knew a bunch of the guys from that, and I'd hang out with them at recess and lunch. And these were a completely different group altogether. So a lot of these people that I'm about to talk about, I'm still friends with to this day. And so they were big into like IT and stuff. So we talk about video games and computers and all that. And that was a big thing throughout my like friendship. I guess my friend development. There was, so this is all through year 8. Year 9 was pretty similar, but was year 9? Year 9 was the first year I did C4, which I forgot to mention in my music video. But basically, I was in a choir and I was singing, like on stage. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I never actually did the performance because I sort of forgot that it was on. Are you serious? I didn't actually do the performance because I forgot that it was on, but like I went to the rehearsal days and stuff like that, and so I was meeting lots of the girls that I later became friends with through musicals and stuff, which I mentioned. But yeah, that was the first time I ever really spoke to the girl I'd consider my best friend at the moment. So that was fun. I still had a lot of the same mates. My mate that I met from cricket, I was still really close friends with. He's probably my best mate as well. I don't know, it's hard to pick. It's like that Lee Kernaghan song, like you got hundreds of friends but only a couple of damn good mates. And those two are some of my damn good mates. So yeah, there was that. C4, year 9. Anything else really happened in year 9? one of my mates was dating this girl that introduced you to my first serious girlfriend, but I won't go into details about that because, like I said, save that for another episode. You got to milk this content, you know what I mean? Not that anyone watches these videos, but yeah. This is where it starts to get a bit juicier in terms of to what I'm going to talk about with my friends. So, my year 10, this was a big time because year 9, I was sort of still friends with the same people, but year 10 was when I became really close with all the music people because I mentioned I did Cats and all that, and so I really started to focus more on these group of mates, and so I was just hanging out with them whenever I could, hanging out in the music department at my school and all that stuff. During the musical as well, I met a bunch of new people. We did C4 again in year 10 and I met a bunch of new people. It was like such a good time. But this is when, because one of my mates had just started doing music and he was really good at it, and he started to hang out with that group as well more. And this is when it gets into the sort of, I don't know, gayer stuff, because as you know, feelings and emotions are all very gay, because I'm a guy, and that's just how it works. I have no idea what I was just saying. Talking about gay emotions, that's it. I started to feel, because he was one of my close mates, and it was almost like I started to feel, I don't know, jealousy, I guess, because he was hanging out with all these people that I considered my friends. Looking back on it now, I'm like, that's friggin' ridiculous. Like, come on, Jack, you idiot, get over yourself. But at the moment, in the time, I'm like, he's come out of nowhere. He's just joined this group that I'd been a part of for years, and he's just like best friends with these. And these sort of feelings continued into year 11, where we did C4 again, and that was a bad time. I don't want to go into too much detail about that because I feel terrible. But yeah, that was my experience of year 10. A lot of jealousy, and it sounds terrible because they're just my friends. It's not like I was getting jealous about my girlfriend hanging out with a guy. It was like I'm getting jealous of my friends hanging out with my other friends, and it's terrible looking back on it. I hate myself for thinking that way, but I couldn't help it. And the same thing happened all throughout year 11. We were given free periods, and a couple of my mates were all on the same line, and they all were hanging out together. And on my free period line, I didn't have really any friends in there, and so I spent a lot of my free periods alone, sad, thinking about my other friends hanging out together. Oh my god. And it was, I never said this to them because I was worried, but like, it almost felt like they didn't want to hang out with me and they were choosing not to, even though they didn't really have a choice of when their free period line was. But at the time, I was like hanging out with other groups of people and stuff like that to try and, I don't know, have my own friends. But looking back on it now, it's just ridiculous. Year 12 was a lot better, but I was in a pretty rough relationship, but that's okay. I won't go into detail about that. But I became closer with a lot of my friends through that because they were all there for me, and it helped me sort of realize that I had all these people in there. And so the friend who I mentioned earlier, who I met at C4, who's like now my best mate, she was, there for me for a lot of it. And the other best friend who I mentioned, my goodness, what am I doing? My other best friend who I mentioned was always there for me. My mates from the music class were always there for me. And we, spent a lot of time together. Yeah. So that was really my year 12 experience. The end of year 12 was really good because I had my 18th birthday at band camp and I was there with my friends and I had just gotten out of that bad relationship, which I'll go into more detail in the next episode. It was just, it was a rough time through year 11 and 12 in terms of my friends because I was underappreciative and I didn't realize what I had, and then it's sort of going through all that pain and stuff helped me realize what I had, I guess. And so I'm still friends with all of these people to this day and I love them to bits, and some of them watch these videos and they're all, my favorite people on earth. I finished year 12. I went to university the year after. So this is now just last year, 2018, my first year of uni. So I was very introverted. I still am introverted, but I'm getting better at it. But when I went to uni, I didn't go to any of the O Week activities, and a lot of people already knew each other, and so it was tough to sort of break that barrier and start making my own friends. And so what would happen was I wouldn't really talk to anyone, and one of my mates from school dropped out and left uni to go work full time, and so I was sort of left there all alone, not so much not willing to make friends, but more I was scared, and so it took a little while to sort of break that barrier. And what eventually did it was a girl in another friendship group just sort of started talking to me one day, and it was weird because, like, looking back on it, I regret not doing it sooner. But all it took was this girl coming to talk to me, and then one day in one of my classes, all the people in her group changed desk clumps and came and sat with me, because I sat on a desk pretty much all alone on this huge desk, all by myself. And so that was all it took. And then now, these people are some of my closest friends. I went on a coast trip with them at the end of last year, and we stayed at the coast for a couple of nights. Something I would have never imagined doing with anyone at uni. But these people are some of the closest friends of mine, and I love them to bits. And like I said, I regret not doing it sooner, because that first semester I was depressed, not having any friends, not really knowing anyone. I'd sit by myself. I was barely doing assignments. I was barely hanging out with any of my friends from school. I spent so much time alone. And the second I joined that friendship group, or became part of that friendship group, it was my life just completely flipped around, and I'm just so grateful for it. Another thing I can talk about is my job at the moment. So I work at a swimming pool as an instructor, and so I'm teaching kids because I'm at university at the moment to become a primary school teacher. And so yeah, I'm teaching kids, and I got that job to sort of get that extra experience with the kids and stuff like that. But how I got it is one of my mates from school worked there, and he basically just said, "Oh, you should apply because it's good experience working with kids. It's rewarding work and all that." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I might. We'll see how things go." And it took me a couple of months before I finally applied. But like, I've only been working there for a couple of months now, maybe 4 months. I don't know. But those people there are like, once again, some of my closest friends. And it's one of those things where I regret not doing it sooner because of I love working there too. Working with kids is such a rewarding job. But I just wish I'd put myself out sooner and had gotten those experiences sooner. And it's just one of those things where it's like a life lesson where now I will try and put myself out there because I know how good things can get based on, not being such an introvert. And there's nothing inherently wrong with being an introvert, but it's good to put yourself out there sometimes and get noticed by people, because that's when you form the best relationships and you have the best sort of, I don't know. It's tough to explain. I have nothing but love for everyone in my life right now. My friends that I went to school with, the new friends I made at uni, the new friends I've made at work. I'm just so grateful and all that. And I wrote my boss at my job last year a Christmas card. And the mate who sort of helped me get the job was like, "Oh, you're such a suck up." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am," but it was one of those things where I felt like I owed it to him because I'm so grateful for what's happening right now. I love everything in my life right now, and it's just sort of one of those things where he gave me the job, and if not for him, I'd still be, being sad and lonely and all that. And so, yeah, I just thought I owed something to him, at least, because he's given me so much more than what he thinks. It's not just a job for me, it's a life experience. I mean, it's good that I'm getting paid for it, because I do like the money, but that's not what I'm doing it for, sort of thing. It's like, I am getting this life experience, and I just, love every minute of it. I've been rambling on about nonsense. I don't even remember what I started this video about. But, yeah. Hopefully I'll keep going. Hopefully I'll keep the same friends. I mean, I absolutely adore the people that I'm friends with now, and I would like them to be my friends forever. Even my friends from high school, who I've known for years and years, they're the kind of people that I'd be like, "I want you at my wedding, and I want you at my funeral," sort of thing. Even though that is so far down the track, and I would have met tons of new people by then. It's just like, I have such a love for all of my close mates. Yeah. We've still got 20 levels to go of this pack, but I might actually end the episode there because we did 30 levels of the blue pack. Oh, sorry. We did more than 30. We did 120. So I've done 250 levels today. Jesus. Alright, I'll end the episode there. That was good. It was fun reliving a lot of that, actually, remembering back to primary school and all my friends there. It's, looking back on it now, I do remember vividly a lot of things. It was great. It's weird. Someone who is an introvert like myself can become so extroverted when they're around their close friends. Like, some of the things I've done, I would never even consider doing in front of, like, certain groups of people, but when I'm with those people, I don't know, I lose myself, I guess. It's crazy. Like, at a New Year's Eve party, I went skinny dipping in a pool, just around my mates. Like, I didn't really care if they saw me without my clothes on. It was just one of those things where, like, you're my close friends, I've known you forever, I don't really care what you think. So, but I would never consider doing that, say, I don't know, a group of friends of people who I wasn't super close with. It's just like the mindset completely flips when you're around people that you know and trust, I guess. Anyway, I'm rambling on and on. This video is getting boring. I will say see you guys in the next one. How about that? Remember to eat food, fellow food eaters. Yeah. Love you all. Bye-bye.